Yo, peace. What's going on? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yo,
what's happening here? I mean, that was you that called last time. I tried to bring you in.
Oh yeah, I had to click over because I was just coming in, and I had to click over, and by the time I got back, I had to call back in. So I'm just coming in, and what I heard the brother say something about you leave the show leaving. What happened?
Oh yeah.
That aside from the fact that it's harder to get in touch with you than President Obama out here.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about all the particulars on off the air, but definitely we have one more show. Remember, it started on the 9/9/09. It started on September 9th, 2009, so it's going to end on September 9th. It's going to be 9/9/11.
Wow.
That's when it ends.
Damn.
Interesting enough. Interesting. That mathematics. I didn't even plan that like that, but it just so happened to be that way. But,
two years even.
2 years even, man, and
it ends on 9/11. Damn.
And it ends on 9/11. That's deep.
It is.
But that's the path, and it's been it. We're gonna talk about that more on that September 9th show, which I hope a lot of old people that I had on the show call in on that particular show. I'll reach out to them though.
Well,
right.
you know how I feel about you and Holy teaching. Like I don't know. Like this brother, he probably doesn't know who I am, but I always had this saying, and I kind of heard he didn't. Ambassador Ausar didn't put it quite the way I put it, but what I always say is, brother, did you see I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker? You remember that movie?
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, remember when Bernie Casey came out of retirement and he was saying the people, he was like, it was the people that made me retire in the first place. So fuck the people. Remember he was saying that? See, that's how I feel. I always said fuck the people, because the people don't want to listen anyway. But I guess that's why I always told him and Holip, I always told them they get the utmost respect from me because they still have enough love in their heart to try to teach these fools what's going on. Like I got to the point where I'm like, look, here it is. Either you want to learn or you don't want to learn. If you want to learn, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have, and anything that I don't know, I know the people to refer you to get your answer. But as far as the masses of people, to me, they don't. They like to be told bedtime stories. They love these stories, and it's just a pain. And since, which actually is apropos, because since you walking around in a trance-like state and you listening to these people when they got you asleep, no wonder you like bedtime stories. You love being lied to. They love being told this great, magnificent bullshit, which is basically what it is. So I understand why it would get to the point of being frustrating. I understand why we get to the point of being frustrating to where you just don't want to do it anymore. I don't know if that's the case, but if it is, I totally understand. Because you can tell them, like, look, this A, B, C, and D, this is what it is. They're going to fight you tooth and nail telling you that that's not what it is, all because of the conditioning that we've had. And it's just to the point now where I'm like, look, you're going to have to want to break out of it for yourself. I don't even have the want to, the wherewithal. I don't have any of that to teach the masses anymore.
Oh, I understand exactly what you're saying, and you know what, and I can understand, believe me. Some things I can't, it's kind of like we used to go to the slave theater, Luminous Path. We used to go to the slave theater here, in New York, and used to see people like Amos Wilson or Khalid Muhammad. They would come to the slave. This is just an old, Dale Jones, even Phil Valentine. This is just an old movie theater. in Brooklyn that they bought in Automatics, and these people took it over at the UAM, and they had all these speakers come on Wednesdays, and we just go there. And sometimes I remember when Amos Wilson did the blueprint for Black Power, the original speech. It was cold. It was hardly nobody in there. This is Amos Wilson.
That's what
we're
talking about, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the whole point. Yep.
It was hardly nobody in there, but sometimes you get called to do things that you don't even. It's like you got to do it. You don't even. You know that it probably won't be received as you would like it to be received, but you got to do it. You just got to do it. You was given the task to do it, and you just got to do it, and that's it. And and I just had to do that. It was just, and it's time to move on at this point. I was told it was time to move on at this point, but the elders put this on me to do. I had to do it.
Right.
So hopefully somebody, and we know that people have called in, people have told me, people have written and said that, they got what they need to get out of it in the same way that I got what I need to get out of going to the slave on Wednesday when hardly nobody was there.
That was actually those times are actually my favorite times because, like, going to the slave and stuff, we had a lot of good times and learned a lot of stuff in there.
Oh yeah, going to Harlem when
Harlem was actually still Harlem.
Yeah.
Before Starbucks and Disneyland.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, going
to talking, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, or even going to the community on Bushwick Avenue in those days.
Yep.
Getting the pizza, talking to the
brothers.
I
was just gonna say, sitting down, eating pizza and learning.
I mean, and you introducing me to the Ansars and reading the books and that era of just excitement to learn something and opening your mind up. I miss those times.
Oh, definitely. That vibe is way gone. We had
going to the movies on 42nd Street and then coming out and seeing the Hebrew Israelites just go crazy on some people.
Crazy on people. We sitting there and take it back even further, back to my man Jerry Curl on the A train.
This guy was just. It was just all the kind of characters we met back then, man. The Hasbro building with the father.
My man Jerry Curl on the 8. Jerry Curl was crazy. My man, they'd be like, hey,
that was that era.
Yeah.
That was that era of time. And that was the time that we I don't know how it was in Cali in terms of was there a scene where this was the scene to get that consciousness from.
Yeah, no, after the Panthers fell out here, that was pretty much it. I mean, if you go to Oakland, there's a little bit left here and there, but it's funny. You said when Harlem was Harlem, Harlem wasn't Disneyland. Well, they're doing the same thing to Oakland now. The gentrification is in full swing. Everyone used to live there is moving out to these smaller communities and all these. It's funny because it's like the blueprint for gentrification is you move all the black folks out, and then you start moving in these quote-unquote artists. These hipsters, these fun-looking white folks that, they like black people, and they like rap, and blah, blah, blah. And then before you know it looks like Beverly Hills. So,
Harlem isn't even, the whole vibe in Harlem is totally different now. It's to the point where it doesn't even feel the same. Because you used to get a certain feeling. Like when Harlem was Harlem, you could go on a Friday or Saturday night, you might just go out to 125th Street and right around the Apollo Theater. You never know who you might run into. I remember walking out there. You see Eric B. and Rocky. Eric B. is sitting outside in front of the Apollo, sitting on his Rolls Royce, chilling. I mean, it wasn't about no hate, no being mad. I mean, people playing music. It had a feel to it. It had a vibe to it. Now that shit feels like Midtown Manhattan. Business.
Oh, that's what it is at this point.
Yeah, business and cold, like Starbucks and like I said, Disneyland and lights and all that. Come on, man, that's not 125th Street. It never was.
Right, and that's what's going on. All like you said, you can go through, and I'm sure people that can call in, they could tell you that story in Chicago and Texas, wherever. They could tell you all these stories that was the same vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and we're losing out. That's what I said. When is that going to come back? We're losing out. That's why. Go ahead. What you saying?
No, I was saying because when we were learning, that had to come into play too. Because people went to those places for that feel and also that knowledge. That's where you was guaranteed to walk away from those places with something to think about. Because it became funny to us, like Holip and Ambassador and myself and probably you too, brother. It became funny. Like I remember after, you know, Tupac came out talking about Machiavelli and Wu-Tang talking about Art of War. We had read those books years before that.
Yeah.
Like years before they started talking about it. But then
we
once
were
they
the ones
started,
that was in those same movie theaters that they talked about those kung fu movies. We were there. We remember the original. They were not on Channel 5. By the time they came on Channel 5, we had already saw all those movies probably 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, by the time they got on Channel 5, bro, we had been to the movies, like you said, 3, 4, 5 times when it was $1.50 and you could be in the movie, watch 3 kung fu movies for $1.50. Cats up in the balcony smoking weed for real. And making up the whole words to the movies when the sound go out. Like now the sound go out in the movies, everybody, nah, niggas was smoking weed and making up their own dialogue until the sound came back on, and everybody in the movie is just dying, laughing, rolling, having a good time until the sound come back on.
It wasn't nobody was getting robbed in there.
Nah.
You had to worry about shootouts in those movies.
Nah, it wasn't none of that, man. It was a good. I mean, you didn't know cats, and you stand out there like, yo, what's up? And y'all wind up talking, or you wind up whatever. Then you see them back at the movies next week, and it's like, oh, yo, what's up, dude? And it what happened was in those early '90s, late '80s, early '90s, to mid '90s, we actually started becoming a family again. And that's around the time when they shifted the whole paradigm. We started becoming a family again. There was a sense of oneness, a sense of togetherness, a sense of each one teach one, everybody wanting to learn. We were starting to become a family again, and the white folks said, oh, shit, okay, no, this can't happen. This cannot happen. And they shifted the whole paradigm.